Broadcasting. Live. From the chicken wing capital of the world, Buffalo, New York. You're listening to the Marketing Above All podcast. Your source for all things, marketing and total world domination. This is Marketing Above All, and this is your host, Michael Tasner.
Welcome. Episode 24. Today's topic is this. Live events, but really attending live events, attending trade shows, things like that, and kind of what to do and all of that good stuff. I've had a few questions about this and want to make sure I give you some really good tactics and tools and insights to really make the most of your marketing dollars. So the first question is, does it make sense to do events? And especially, for local businesses, which is really what this show is catered to, the answer is almost always yes. There's very, very few businesses that it doesn't make sense to do a live event. And I'd have to, think through these during the podcast and see if one comes to mind where I'd be like, no, if you're in this business, don't execute. But in particular, I want to kind of walk you through how I think about these, how I promote them, and how you really maximize your dollars. So step one, and if you haven't noticed over the last 20 plus episodes, I love to try and give you steps. So rather than just saying, yeah, do an event, find some events, I like to give you step one, step two, step three, because this podcast is all about taking action. I'm not doing it for my health. I'm doing it to help you grow your business and stand the test of time. So step one is really making sure that you're attending the right events. So the right event is any event where your target prospect or customer is going to be hanging out. And chances are that's almost always going to be the case. But if you're in the B2B space, the number of events are going to slim down. So we'll talk about B2C and B2B in this particular episode, because there definitely are some pretty big differences of should you attend an event if you're B2B, for example. So traditionally, there's always in your local community different events. So I know that the local Chamber of Commerce's put on events. In Buffalo, I know of events in different cities where they have kind of like there's the Buffalo Home Show, which is all about kind of contractors and all things to do with your house. But there's also a lot of community events of this city and that city, and they bring in different businesses, and that really is more B2C. Now, are there going to be some B2Bs there? Definitely. But in a lot of those events, you really have to make sure the types of people that are there are going to be your customers. And you do that by simply asking the organizer to tell you a little bit more about the types of people that are going to be there. So tell me about last year's attendance, for example, would be a question you want to ask. What are the types of people that come? Do you charge a fee to get in? So you want to just ask a lot more about the event before you talk anything about how much it costs to be there and booth sizes and all of that stuff. So my step one before you do anything else is to make sure you're at the right event. So this isn't a go to every single event. There's a lot of fairs and festivals and things like that. And there's a lot of times where it doesn't make sense for you to be at those events. And you might say or push back, well, Michael, they're saying that last year's attendance was 100,000 people. I would challenge you back, well, tell me more about those people. So I was at the Erie County Fair, which is one of the biggest fairs and festivals in the Western New York area. And there's lots and lots of vendors of all different kinds because it's just such a huge event. But there are certain companies there, like there was a software company that their target customer would be bigger businesses. And you've got to think about the mindset that someone's at when they're going to a particular fair or they're going to a particular event. So think about like the Buffalo Home Show versus an Erie County fair. So at the fair, people are going to eat food, go on different rides, they're bringing their family, they're playing games, they're seeing animals, which is at this particular event. So they're really not in the mindset of, well, I'm looking for a software development company or something like that. Whereas the Buffalo Home Show, the people attending it, they know what the event is all about. They know that the event is going to be focused on home products and home goods and pools and additions and things like that. Two completely different events, two completely different mindsets and types of audiences. So you've got to do more digging before you agree to do the actual event. So that's step one. Step two, you have the organizer tell you about all the different opportunities, not just what is the cost of the booth or the table. Tell me more. What other opportunities are there? And I want them to essentially sell me other stuff. But what I'm looking for, and I mentioned it in the previous episode, I believe episode 23, where I was talking about sponsorships and things like that. What I'm looking for here is what other things can I do at that event to make my table, my booth, my presence stand out from everywhere else, everyone else that's there. How can I be quite different? So I'm asking the organizer, what other opportunities are there? And if they say, well, you can do these three things and they're already listed on paper, well, I know that they've offered those to other people. So I'm going to push back and say, what else? Could I do a live demo and then do a drawing and give someone a $1,000 gift card towards using our product or service? Could I do that? Could I MC the event or have someone on my team MC the event? Could we do, are you gonna do any radio ads promoting this or TV ads promoting the event? Could I jointly do those with you? So you wanna continue to just ask, what else is there? What else can I do? And if they don't give you other ideas other than what's just on the paper, come up with ideas to present to them. Now there's usually gonna be some dollars attached to all of those, but if you're already in a different level, and if you're going to the Buffalo Home Show, for example, you know there's going to be 50 different roofing companies, how can you stand out from the other 49 roofing companies? And that's going to be your presence is more known than the other roofers that are there, and I do that by doing extra stuff. And that's all focused on during the event and also the pre-promotion with the event. So you want them talking about your business on social media. You need more than just a little logo on their website. You want multiple social media posts. Maybe you offer to do a blog post on their website. You want to be mentioned in their radio, their TV, their newsletter, all that stuff where I don't just want your business buried with the other 250 businesses. I need you to stand out. And it's not just silver, gold, platinum, or whatever. It's standing out by doing different stuff. The other thing that I want you to do, so you've selected an event, you've negotiated with the organizer to do some extra promotions and things like that, so you've got that stuff nailed down. So now what do you do when you actually get there? Do you do contests, swag, giveaways, things like that? And the answer really depends on the type of product or service. If it's something that needs to be demonstrated, you want to be demonstrating it there. You should always have at least two people helping. I'm using the word booth, but it could be table, stand, whatever the word that you'd like, or whatever it actually is. So you want to at least have those two people, but I want to also try and find a way for you to make it some kind of experience where they're not just walking around, looking at all the different vendors. They've got a bag, they're taking your swag, putting it in the bag, and then walking along. And I don't just want it to be they're walking along and then you have a little giveaway and they're filling in a form, because those aren't qualified leads. If you're a bakery, I want you to have qualified leads of people that they're looking for a bakery and they want someone to be doing all of their kids' cakes and things like that. The bakery that we used to use, we've not only sent probably 20 plus different people that get probably 10 cakes a year, maybe not 10, 5 cakes a year each. We probably get 5 to 10 cakes a year from this bakery. Now they're gone, and unfortunately she's having to retool and having to figure something else out. So I'm in the market for a bakery. Sell me on that. But it really depends on the type of business as to what type of experience you can have. There's obviously easy ones like chiropractor or massage and things that you can demo. Might be a little bit harder if you're a funeral home. But you can still find ways to turn that into an experience. You can have something that's different for your giveaway. Maybe you have 100 copies of a book that you purchased from hospice, for example. Maybe everyone that fills out a consult, you make a donation to a local charity in their name. You got to come up with things that are quite different than what everyone else is doing. Everyone else and their cousin is going to have a standard, simple booth or table. They're going to put out some tchotchkes and swag, and they're going to be standing behind the booth. Turn it into an experience. Test the limits with the organizer. What can you do? Bring a magician to your booth. He or she starts to generate a crowd of people. You got to start thinking outside the box with these events. And then the final piece to it is you want to make sure that your follow-up game is on point. An earlier episode, I think I called it Your Follow-Up Game Sucks. You've got to make sure that these leads you're getting, you're actually following up with rapidly, and not just once, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. Text messages, mobile messages, so MMS, which is a picture, voicemails, emails, anything and everything that you can do to get across to that prospect, the better. Separate yourself from all the other noise, knowing that your competition is doing the same thing. Final tip for you, re-listen to the episode about geofencing and check this strategy out. If you're at the event, even if you're not at the event, you can geofence the event. Everyone that walks through into that fence that has the mobile data on, location services on, you can now market to them on Facebook and Google. So all those people that are attending, you can be literally running ads live and after the event. Extremely powerful tactic, one of my ultimate favorite tactics. Hope you enjoyed this episode. This was jam-packed. Lots of cool tips, tools, tactics. Get out there and execute. I'm signing off for today. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. See you tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Marketing Above All. Now get out there, make a change, and take some action. And hey, don't forget to leave a 5-star review and tell all your friends this is the greatest marketing podcast ever. We look forward to seeing you here tomorrow.